People think valedictorians or anyone with a high GPA study all day without a life outside of school. But with these 9 tips that you've probably never heard of, especially tip number 7, I'll show you how these types of students get top marks all the while having a life outside of school. Now let's get straight into it. Number 1. Have a motivation. Starting anything is the hardest part. I mean, why would you want to study or read a textbook when you could just be on your phone watching YouTube or playing video games? But this is where a motivation, no matter how shallow it is, can help you get started. It could be, I want to get into an Ivy League so I can boast all I want on LinkedIn. Or, I want to get a job with a fat paycheck. For many first-generation students like myself, we feel as though we're wasting the blood, sweat, and tears our parents put in if we don't get the best of grades. But it does not matter what type of motivation you use. As long as it gets you moving, it works, so use it. Number 2, build momentum for focus. When you're in the first few minutes of studying, it is crucial to not get distracted by your phone or anything else other than the thing that you're studying for. Think about a rocket trying to get out of orbit. The hardest part of this whole process is the initial launch phase, which is why we need a point 1, a motivation to get started. But you don't just end at lifting off, right? There are many atmospheric levels that we have to go through, and letting yourself get distracted by the small tasks in your house, your phone, your music, is like cutting off the thrust for that rocket. But if you keep that thrust going, you'll eventually end up in space, where you don't need any motivation or discipline to keep going forward. For the rocket, it's in space, but for you, you're in the flow state. To help you achieve this flow state that I'm talking about, I created a step-by-step 15-page Google Doc for you to use completely free. The encryption password for that document will be at the end of the video, so make sure you watch to the end. Number 3. Game music. When you study, try listening to some background music from popular game titles like Fortnite or Minecraft. Since gaming music is so consistent, you won't be distracted by sudden increases in volume, unlike traditional songs. Second, these types of music typically don't have lyrics, which can help you stay focused on whatever you're working on instead of the lyrics. But Shinwa, I don't listen to the lyrics. I don't care. Try it. If it works for you, it works. If it doesn't, it doesn't. Just give it a try and let me know in the comments. Number 4, screw the homework. From my experience, none of my exams were like my homework. I used to do more homework problems thinking that would help me, but after doing 2-3 times the amount of questions that they gave me, I felt betrayed looking at the exam because it looked nothing like it. Yes, the extra problems help build the foundations of this concept, but if I don't even know what the questions look like for what I'm applying this concept to, what is the point of doing extra problems? Instead of solving piles and piles of extra homework questions, try to look for a practice exam online. And if you can't, simply just ask your teacher if they could give you one. This way you'll be able to get the highest return for your time invested. Number 5, flashcards on steroids. I'm sure you've heard of using flashcards for quizzes and exam preparation, but have you tried using flashcards on steroids? Using Gizmo, you can create flashcards in a fraction of the time while also being able to practice active recall. Another studying technique you've probably already heard of. I didn't get asked or paid to say any of this, but if this was out during my time in high school, I would have been abusing this shit. It could have saved me countless all-nighters writing and organizing flashcards. Number 6. Output equals focus times time. The best minds can only focus at 100% for 4 hours a day, according to Deep Work by Cal Newport. In those 4 hours, you could achieve more than you could ever get with those 12 hours of studying with 50% focus. Short, intense work is key. And keep in mind, these are the best minds that are out there. So for you and I, it's even less than 4 hours a day. Number 7, studying while being fasted. This tip, although it could be seen as extreme, is one of the best boosters of focus. According to Andrew Huberman, your body uses 60% of energy to metabolize food. So if you're digesting food while you're studying, you won't be able to tap into the full potential of your energy and focus. Try to fast, or at most drink a cup of coffee during your morning study session. You can always have your meal after your study sessions. Number 8, the mind palace technique. Say you're trying to memorize the derivatives of sine, cosine, and tangent, and you're always mixing the answer between the 3 of them. You can avoid this problem by associating different rooms in your house to each trig identity. Say your room is sine, living room is cosine, and bathroom is tangent. You can first physically go walk through each place, but you have to keep in mind that each place represents a certain trig identity. And later down the line, you can mentally picture it when you're trying to recall the information. Number 9, try to explain in simple terms. Albert Einstein most famously said, if you can't explain it to a 6-year-old, you don't understand it yourself. Many of you that are taking calculus already know that the derivative of 7x is 7. What does a derivative even mean? Try and answer these questions in the simplest of terms, as if you're explaining it to a 6-year-old. And if you can't, it means you haven't truly understood the fundamentals. I would really appreciate it if you could help a small channel out and subscribe. And if you got to this part of the video, comment the word done and I'll reply to every single one of you guys. I hope these 9 tips helped open your eyes on what kind of things you could do to improve your study sessions. You don't have to incorporate all these things that I showed you, but you can simply just pick and choose the ones that work for you. And make sure you check out my 15-page free flow guide in the description. The password to it is Free Flow 24. That's capital Free Flow 24. I'll put it on the screen just in case you guys missed it. With it, you'll be able to tap into the flow state whenever you please. Easy to say, but hard to do. So go do the hard work. Peace.